This is the tidy version.
That's why I'm against a wall, so you can't see everything. Everything else that's a mess.
I tidied up, but there's still stuff everywhere.
Yeah. No, it's good. All right. So this is your first critique. I need to not set level 4 critiques on the same day as level 19 critiques because I'm way harsher. So I feel like you guys are coming in and getting like a really tough break straight off the bat. And everybody in your cohort voted and said that I should be hardest with you.
Okay. Cool.
So, all right. So you're gonna pull up your photos that you brought to critique, and then you're gonna go up and click on the screen share button in your upper left-hand side.
Okay. Screen share. Where's that? What's it
So
look like?
it's the little. If you roll over to the left, it's the little green one with the arrow.
Okay, got it. So sharing desktop one. Yeah.
There you go. Yay. Okay. So I see me.
Okay, hang on.
There we go. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go through, and you're going to tell me a little bit about creating the images and how you feel about them, and then I'm going to grade you on a scale of 0 to 3. You need 5 points to cross level 4 into level 5. Otherwise, that's it. You're out.
Okay. I'm just pulling you onto the other monitor so I can see everything together.
Okay, great.
Okay, so you want me to tell you about this now? Is that how it works?
Yep.
Okay, so this this couple, I'm actually shooting their wedding in April. It's an engagement session I did. It's a National Trust property.
Mm-hmm.
See, I watched a tutorial about posing and stuff, and this is one of the first jobs I did after I watched it. So it all went pretty good. The couple were really loved up, and with a bit of direction, it all went quite good. I was testing some pocket wizards and off-camera flash as well, same day, but this is just shot natural light. Yeah, I think I edited. It's just had Lightroom, a Visco preset that I've modified. So yeah, that's it. I like it. It's from quite a long sequence that I've got a lot of good images from the set. So I'll just pick one out the centre that I thought represented it quite well. So yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. This is very cute. It is definitely very coupley, engagement-y. I love the little flower field, and you did a good job of putting them so that the lines lead into them, like the lines of the trees on both sides lead dead center to them, which works really well.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen a little more of his face. You know, this is a common misconception that a lot of photographers feed into, especially with weddings, is that it's more about the girl than it is the guy. You know, it's all about the bride. Like, the groom's almost an afterthought in a lot of it. So I try to give them both equal play visually, and we're only seeing like just the edge of his nose. So if he had turned his face into her, I think it would have created a little bit more of a connection and shown him as also a starring role, which is good. You'll learn quickly to start making recommendations for what your couple's wearing when they come in, because both of the outfits are fine by themselves, but together they compete with each other with the patterns, and it's a little bit distracting.
Yeah, I hadn't saw that, but now you mention it, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen her other leg. It just completely disappears. And same thing with the wardrobe choices. Having the really light colored shoes with the black stockings are a little bit distracting. But I love the expression on her face, and it's beautiful for natural light. So I'm going to give you a 2 for this. I think it's commendable. I don't think there's anything that really makes it exceptional and moving, but it's definitely a really pretty shot, and probably one that they would definitely want to buy.
Okay, cool.
Next shot.
Okay, to the next. Where's my mouse? Okay, so this one, this is a wedding from last year as well. It was quite a short wedding. This is just before she left for the venue. It's taken in the bedroom where she got ready. So she sat on the bed, and the window is kind of like this way, so she's got the window light on her. And I'm like, I think I shot it 70mm 2.8 to get the the drop off in the focus and stuff. And I'm stood on the stool when I took it. Looking at it now, I think it looks a little bit too much like a selfie, but I still like it. I quite like it.
I agree. It is very selfie-like. And the reason that girls always hold the camera above them when they take selfies is because whatever's closest to the camera seems largest. So it gives you almost like a cartoon character kind of feel, because it makes your eyes look really big and your chin look really small, which is the same way they draw all the really attractive female characters.
Okay.
Same thing. It makes your boobs look big and your waist look really small. Like, everything starts to fade away. So that's why girls will always do that. They don't usually know it. They just know that they look better in those shots. But
I think I watched the Susan Stripling Creative Live or something, and she was doing this shot almost every time that I watched her. And I think that's where I got the idea from. So I've done it a couple of times with a couple of different weddings, and it always looked okay. But this one, I think with the angle of her arms, it looks a bit too much like a selfie. Now I'm looking at it again, but I still really like it.
Yeah, it does, but it's also a safe shot. And that's where I start to get bored with it, especially when you bring up names of well-known photographers that are supposed to be, when they're supposed to be leading the industry, they shouldn't be resting on the safe shot that everyone can do. That's like telling people to go stand under the tree and shoot in the shade in the afternoon. You're not an outdoor lighting master, you're playing it safe. Same thing. Like, yes, this is a nice shot. It will be almost every single wedding one that you can pull off, but there's nothing exceptional or nothing that sets it apart from everybody else. Anybody can do it from this angle and get a decent shot. It's not playing to any of her strengths. It's just a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. So it's pretty, but that's it. It's just pretty. And, you know, my job is to make you artists and build you bigger and stronger. So, you know, I'm going to give this one a 2 because it is very well done. I love the catch lights in her eyes. It's very flattering. I love the shallow depth of field. And it works. And she, as the bride, would be really happy. But you're never allowed to bring a shot from this angle ever again to critique. Okay?
Oh, harsh.
Okay.
Okay.
Next one.
Okay, now this one, this is a wedding from about the same time last year. This is probably a couple of weeks after that last shot. The reason it's cropped 2:1 like that, that's how I cropped it for the album spread. That was a double page spread in the album, and I just wanted to show them it's like walking through the scene, and then the next shots in the album were kind of the ceremony type thing. I just included this because I just liked the textures and stuff, and I think if it was cropped as a regular, 3:2, chop the modern building off, that's what I'd probably do. But yeah, I just included this because I thought it's like as good as I'm doing at the moment.
I like this one, and it works very well as a more wide angle landscape shot. The only thing that jumps out at me immediately is that I would like to see a little bit more of the texture in the sky, and I can see just a little bit of the blue hinting through, so I'm guessing you can go up and probably dodge and burn and pull a lot of it out, but you could also probably select and drop a different sky in the background just to give it a little more texture, because there's so much information everywhere else and then just blank in that one spot, so it kind of sticks out a little bit. But I love this moment, and that it has a little bit of a voyeuristic quality. I would have liked to have seen them moving a little bit more, like the walk, because it kind of looks like they're standing waiting to start. So I might have waited that one step, because I feel like that motion of them taking the step would have really completed the story. But the lighting's beautiful. She looks fabulous. I love the bridesmaid holding up the train of the dress, and I'm guessing, like her dad. Like, it's a bit. This is what all brides imagine and think of, you know, when they're considering their wedding day and getting to walk down and marry the love of their life. And this tells that story. So I could see this being a really powerful image for future sales when you're in the studio showing other brides, like this is that moment, you know. And it's a really strong moment between, you know, the man that has been the love of your life since the moment you were born, walking you over to give you to the man that's going to take care of you the rest of your life. Like, that's really emotionally potent for a lot of brides, and I think that this image tells that story really well. I love all the green and the richness and how the three of them are standing out against that. It's really well situated as a composition, and I actually really like the houses in the background too, and that is this convergence of you know, like kind of like nature and humanity coexisting harmoniously visually together. So I think that this is a really beautiful shot, exactly how it is. I wouldn't crop it or change anything. I'm really inclined to change that sky out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this one a 3. This is one of my favorites that I've seen from you so far in the group.
Thank you. Okay, next.
Yep.
Okay, this is the groom from the girl who was in the selfie type shot.
Okay.
The venue was kind of like a country house type place, and there was like agricultural buildings at the bottom of the grounds. So when I took the bride and groom out after the ceremony for the portraits, I spotted this building with a bright green, and I just thought it looked kind of funky putting them against the bright green. And yeah, I got him to throw the pose, and he looks like he's fell out of a magazine. I was quite pleased with it. Yeah,
this is a really nice shot too, and they work well together as a duet between the one of the bride and now this one. I could see them fitting well together as a spread. You're doing really well. Is this all natural light?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. You're doing really well with your natural light in terms of not losing any information. Like, you can see the texture and the folds in the fabric in his white shirt without the highlights being blown out, but we also don't lose any of the definition of the jacket, the vest, or the pants in the shadows. And usually you see somebody sacrifice information in one area in order to hold it for the other. So it's really well done. His expression's very genuine. I don't have too much negative critique for this, except for his fingers being fused together. Like, a little bit of separation in the fingers helps them not look Paul-like. And they do just a little bit here. So having him relax those fingers, I think, would have been the only thing that has room for improvement. It's a really nice shot all the way around. Same thing, like it's kind of simple in the retouching, so it looks like a photograph. So, which is a good thing. That's a mark of a good photographer. But you know, like, this is a complimentary photo. It's a great portrait of the groom, but it's not the fine art shot of the wedding. So, but it's still, for what it is, it's very well executed. So I'm going to give you a 3 for this one too. I think it's really well done.
Thank you. Okay. Next one.
Yep.
Okay, number 5. This one was, again, wedding from last year, where the ceremony was not the greatest place, if I'm honest. It was the grounds were non-existent. It was a hotel, just a car park outside. So this place was kind of 5 minutes drive away. So I took the bride and groom out, and this one's shot with off-camera flash. There's a speed light with a pocket wizard, and it's been viscoed and had a few tweaks to it. But yeah, again, from quite a long sequence of images that I was quite pleased with. I've got quite a lot of photos that came out really pretty good, and Yeah, and so this is just one from the sequence. There was a bunch of close-ups and verticals, and yeah, I was quite pleased with how it came out.
Okay. Um, I like this one too. You have a very good collection of images. You haven't shown me anything that hasn't hit the mark, um, but they're also not distinctive yet to where I feel like I could pull them out and know that it was your image if I didn't see your name attached to it. And that's the ultimate goal, is for your work to be so distinct that you don't have to introduce yourself with it.
Yeah.
It's pretty, but it's pretty, and that's pretty much all there is to say about it. Which is, again, it's not a bad thing, but that's the beginning of the separation between the photographers and the artists. And I think that you're at the point where you have pretty much topped out as a photographer, you know. So you can do well in the same way that every other photographer can do well, but there isn't anything that's really distinct that I'm going, that's got to be a Greg Faulkner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as far as this one goes, sometimes you just don't have the perfect landscapes to work with, and this was a good fix for that if you found this nearby. I'm still inclined to do the same thing. I would totally swap out that sky. That sky is doing nothing for you. It's not doing you any favors with the image. And I would like to see you play around a little bit more in the Photoshop and the retouching, and see if some of your style and what separates you from every other artist comes into play there a little bit. But it's well done. It's well lit. I can see all the details in her dress. That's a huge thing. Nothing is worse than when a photographer blows out the highlights of the gown, and you didn't hear. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of her face, and I'd be inclined to retouch a little bit along the top of her dress, because that dark shadow along the top of the dress translates as fat, because that's what it is. The shadow comes from the curve over it, so I'm always really careful about making sure that I'm paying attention to how her skin looks, because it usually doesn't have anything to do with the bride. It has to do with the fact that right now in our generation, like, the corseted tops are very in, so they pull in against the body, and even when you have size 0, size 2, you're getting that effect with that shadow line right along the top of the fabric. But you can go in and kind of soften and even that out a little bit. That's the only thing that really jumps out at me.
Yeah.
And there's just a little bit, and I don't think that there was anything you could do about this, honestly, in this shot, but the shadow on his face from under his nose to his mouth, we lose a lot of the definition of his face there. So I'd be curious to see, and I'm sure you have it because it's a full wedding, but I think that this shot would actually probably be stronger as like a 3/4 shot than a wide out shot. Like, for me, if I don't have good location, and the sky's not cooperating and I'm not getting anything really exceptional, like, being really honest, like, they're standing in grass. There's a lot of grass. That's really what it is. Like, we've got no water features. Like, there's nothing really, like, exceptional about the background that's making it like a wow kind of feeling to it. Like, it's just somewhere they didn't cut the grass. And the clouds aren't participating. Like, nothing was working for your favor that day, and you did really well with what you had to work with. But I feel like when I don't have everything playing ball with me, I'll rely a lot more on closer up shots and shots that are showing the emotion and the connection of the couple, and genuine interaction and connection with them and with them with me. And I think that this would probably be a stronger shot closer in, because I don't think that everything around you is lending enough to warrant distracting from what it's about, which is them. So I'm going to give this one a 2. It's still a really nice shot, but I don't think it quite crosses into the exceptional category.
Okay. Great.
So, well done. Okay, so you can turn off the screen share.
How do I do that?
Oh,
the button, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is that stopped?
So you survived, you get to stay. It's always a good way to start out. So you're new. How are you feeling? Because you hopped right up to level 4 like it was your job.
I mean, I don't mind sharing the photos and getting critiqued, really. I've done it for 3 years at university, so I don't find it much of a problem. So, yeah, I just want to get better at the art side of stuff. That's what I want to do, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why the Arcanum?
I just feel like I don't know. I feel like I want to learn more than the technical stuff and kind of be inspired a bit more and kind of be more creative. Like you said earlier on, I don't think there's anything that makes the images I'm making stand out that much, and that's what I feel like I need to do. So I've got more of a style that's my own rather than just they look a bit generic, and I know that's what I want to improve.
Are you working full time as a photographer right now?
I am, yeah. I do a ton of crappy estate agents, photos, real estate.
I feel like if you're calling what you do crappy, you may not be in the right genre.
Oh no, it's absolutely crappy, but I'm getting paid all right for it. So, and that pays for the other stuff. I'm doing the weddings. I'm not doing so many. I only did about 6 or 7 last year, and I've got about the same amount booked for this year. So I really want to do more weddings and more portrait stuff. At the moment, the real estate stuff that I'm doing is paying for everything else.
Okay. What do you love to shoot?
People.
Okay. Is it that open-ended, or is there something specific that resonates with you?
I love doing the weddings. I love doing the weddings, and I love being around the family and the emotions and how happy the day is. And I like the fact with a wedding, it's kind of you're shooting products, you're shooting people, you're shooting all kinds of different stuff, and it's just so varied. And I just enjoy the emotion and being around people on the day. It's kind of I love it.
So if we could spend the rest of the Foundation Sphere and Sphere 1 focusing you into the wedding market, and you could make as much money as you're making from everything else just in that, is that ideal for you? Is that what we're trying to work towards?
I would love to just be doing weddings and portraits.
Okay.
And families.
What's the ideal money amount? What would get you to quit everything else right now? How much would you like to be making a month?
Oh, it's not that much, really. I don't need to make that much money. In dollar terms, I don't know, $1,500 a month. I'd be happy with that easily. If I could do more than that, then yeah.
What are you making a wedding right now, on average?
In dollars, about $1,500.
Okay, so that's one wedding a month. So you're not far off from that. If you're shooting 7 or 8, you're only like 3, 4 weddings short of being able to do that.
Yeah. A couple of the ones I shot, that was second shooter, so probably 6 myself and 2 second shooting. So I could do with doubling what I'm doing, I would say, and that would be enough for me to quit doing the crap that I don't like doing.
Well, that's a double-edged sword there, because a lot of people feel the way you do, and they say, oh, if I could just make enough money doing this, then I wouldn't do that, whether that's like a different civilian job that's totally removed or them shooting in a genre they don't like. The problem is that the more time and energy you spend shooting the crap that you don't like to shoot, the less time and energy you have to put towards the stuff that you actually like doing and that sets you on fire. So some of it is a commitment. I'm gonna make the master statement that I believe that if you made the commitment right now to not shoot any more of the crap, and your survival was depending on you booking the rest of these, that you would work harder to book the rest of them. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know. See, I mean, yeah, I know what you're saying. It's difficult to do that. I mean, when you get a regular income stream, it's difficult to give it up, isn't it?
That's fear talking.
Ah.
It is, and you can tell when you rewatch this, you'll see it because your whole body language, everything changed because now making you uncomfortable because you don't want to say I'm scared of doing it and I'm a big fraidy cat and I'm afraid that somebody won't call. But you can see like with all the body language and everything you're doing, I'm totally calling you out for it because I'm totally right. You know, but the thing is that that affects everyone. I did the same thing the first couple of years. I shot weddings and I shot seniors and I shot, you know, pets and I shot families and I shot babies and I did boudoir and, you know, it was whatever I was going to get paid money for. And for a long time, it was really, really hard for me to make the choice that I didn't want to do weddings anymore. And it wasn't that I didn't love them because I did. For a while it was weddings and boudoir, and I loved both of them because I like being part of those moments and the family and the emotion, and I'm a big crybaby, and you know, I got married in the middle of a blizzard, so I lived vicariously through all of my clients' weddings, but it was interfering with teaching, and I couldn't go teach in London like I am this year and stuff like that because everything's on the weekends for both. But I was making $10,000 to $12,000 a wedding, so that was really, yeah. So, you know, that's a really, really tough ticket to go. Oh well, you know, at minimum, I was making $5,000 a wedding. At minimum, they weren't spending less than that. So, you know, 10 weddings, I was making at minimum $50,000 to $60,000 from it, and so it was a big deal for me to go, I'm going to give that up because I don't want to do it anymore because I'd rather do this other thing that pays way less money. But that's my dog going nuts, if you can hear her tap dancing. But I can tell you that when I did that, the interesting thing was that the more that I started to specialize, the easier it was for me to validate raising my rates and making more money for a wedding because I was now a specialist. That was all that I did.
Yeah.
You know? And you're new, so you haven't heard this, so I'll do my analogy that I do with everyone. You know, it's the difference between being a general practitioner and being a heart surgeon. You know, you'll trust your heart surgeon to tell you that you have a chest cold, but you won't trust your family doctor to perform open heart surgery. So if I come and I have a budget of $10,000 to $12,000, am I going to go hire someone that does nothing but stunning, beautiful wedding portraits, or am I going to go hire the guy that does great wedding portraits and real estate and portraits? You know, it's just one of those things. Like, you know, who makes more money? The specialist does, which doesn't mean that you can't shoot multiple things, but every time you do that, you're widening your playing field for income with who your potential clients are and how much potential income there is because there's more opportunities, but you're also diluting the potency of what it is you offer, so as a result you're getting paid less money per piece. So it just depends on how much you want to work and what you want to be known for.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So you want to be known for it and you like doing the weddings and portraits.
Yeah. Definitely.
Definitely.
I don't really tell anybody that I do the real estate stuff. It's not on the website or anything. I've got a contract with some local estate agents, and I'll just do it, and nobody really knows apart from like my mum and dad and my wife. And I do it.
Okay. Well, do you want it bad enough that you're willing to give up the rest and go for it?
Yeah. I suppose so, yeah. I really want to shoot more weddings, so I need to know how to shoot more weddings, what to do. I mean, I'm not doing wedding fairs or anything like that, but I'm running Facebook adverts at the moment, targeting like engaged couples and stuff. But that's as far as I've gone with any advertising and marketing, really, just Facebook ads.
Okay. What do you think is the biggest obstacle standing between where you are and where you want to be as far as how you define success as a wedding photographer?
I don't know. What's standing in the way?
Probably that Greg guy.
I just need to market myself more, I think, and be better at it. I'm not very good at I don't know. I've got no idea really how to get more clients. I've got no idea.
Okay. So it's just a matter of outreach, you think?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When
Because the other work I do, that real estate stuff. It just comes to me. I don't have to do anything for it. It's just really easy. And
weddings will become that way too. I think part of the reason you're not seeing that is again because we don't have a style that we're looking at and going, oh, that's definitely one of his images, you know? Like you can pull that out with certain photographers and we can't do that with you yet.
yeah,
So that's part of what we're going to be working on in the next 15 levels is,
yeah,
really starting to define your style. And you will see it when you come back even at level 9. When you come back at level 9, the images that you bring to level 9 compared to what you brought to level 4 will
yeah.
be, there'll be a profound difference between the two and what you're willing to accept as good work from yourself.
It's like I've done like when I've done some wedding edits in the past. I've like been playing around and doing some stuff with it, and I thought, oh God, am I pushing it too far? I mean, are they gonna hate how much I've photoshopped this and stuff? And I'm just thinking, oh, I just need to perhaps give them like something a bit more toned down. But, so yeah,
No, not necessarily. I mean, the thing is that a combination of the two, if that's a consistent style, there will be people that will look at it and go, no, I don't really like that. It's too whatever.
yeah,
There's also going to be people that are going to look at your images and go, they're too plain now. Like, there's not enough. Like, where's all the oomph? Where's the Photoshop? Why don't I have that little HDR effect thingy that my Instagram filter has, and then they're going to take all your photos and put them on Instagram and put filters on them. And the same way, like there are people that look at my work because a lot of my style and what makes them recognizable is the way that I retouch them. And there's a lot of people that are like, I get chided a lot that 98% of my work is sepia toned. So it'll depend, but the bottom line is that I would rather have them not like you for your style and have others love you for your style than have people be like, meh. Meh is a death sentence for any artist. If people aren't reacting to your work viscerally, then you have failed. So, the idea is that, even if somebody comes in or takes a look at your work or goes to your website and then is like, oh my God, no, not at all, that's a win because they reacted to it. If they come in and they're like, yeah, it's nice, you're going to lose them to another client because they have to have a reaction. Like there has to, and you're talking weddings, like it's one of the most important days in their entire life, and it is one of the biggest bills they will ever pay to eat cake. Like it really is. Like they invest so much money and time into it. They spend like a year planning it, and what do they have when it's over? Your pictures.
exactly.
That's it. You create the first heirloom for a brand new family every time you make a wedding album.
Yeah.
And the value of that goes up the longer they have it. What it means to them in that moment, priceless. What it means to their grandchildren 50 years from now, even more so. What it means 200 years from now when somebody comes across the photo that isn't related to them and has never met them, there's a nostalgia and a potency and an importance to these because of the history behind it and what it counts for. Like that's a big deal. So I think you having a style that is easily recognizable, and then having your personality and who you are at weddings and the way that you see things and the way that you make other people feel about what you see things is going to be a really, really strong factor. But you already have all the elements. Like you understand photography. You've got the basics of what makes for a good image, and you're hitting your point a good bit of the time with most of it. So it's just little tweaks. Like, you're good enough now that you don't have to just be a photographer anymore. Don't be a wedding photographer. Be, you know, be an artist. Be someone that they want because they want you. I don't even want them to like your images. I want them to like you. I want them to have you because it's you. You know, like, are you you're familiar with Jerry Gannis?
Yeah, the Australian guy.
Yeah, the Australian guy, that guy. You know, like, nobody calls him because his wedding pictures are pretty. They call him because they want to have him photograph their wedding. You know, it's a name thing. It's to the point that when you don't have to sign your name at the bottom of your prints and you don't have to have a watermark because they know they're yours, that's when it becomes valuable that you sign your name on your art.
Yeah.
That's where I should do. But I think that if you're at 6 or 7 and you're already at $1,500 a wedding and you're saying that's what you need to make a month, like, really all we have to do to get you to the point that you can draw everything else is another 4 weddings. That's nothing. So what I'd like to do is I would like to get you to double that, where you're shooting, say, 24 weddings a year, every other weekend, you know, and probably a couple of months where you have them back-to-back weekends, and shoot double the rates that you're currently at.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Sounds perfect.
So you did swimming and your first critique. Did you have any questions, concerns, things you wanted to talk to me about since we had on FaceTime?
I can't think of anything other than what we spoke about, to be honest. Yeah, I think everything's good.
Are you getting the hang of Arcanum? You're feeling good in the community? You seem to feel on it. You just hired in and ran full speed, so I'm not worried about you.
Yeah, I mean, I had a few problems initially trying to upload the photos into a set and stuff like that. It was driving me mad, but I just like spent a few hours figuring it out, and it's all good, no problem.
Okay, awesome. Well, you passed level 4 with flying colors. Welcome to level 5.
Thank you.
And I will see you again at level 9.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.